Fit for Life Radio, episode 98. Gary and Will here.
What's up?
The undynamic duo.
Undynamic, non-dynamic, static duo.
Mm-hmm.
We're just here.
Today we're doing a Q&A. Posted up some questions. I don't even think we've looked at all of them, but we're going to just answer them away.
We're gonna rip through them.
Last Q&A we did was one of our most downloaded episodes. People
like it.
Triggered them. They liked what they saw.
Mm-hmm.
They liked what they heard. All right.
Let's just get into it.
Trying to think of any current events. Anything?
There's too many current events.
I had to wear a beanie today.
You did?
It was like 50 degrees this morning.
I need to buy one. I got such a little head just like you. I got to find the right one. Because I end up looking like a 6-year-old with too big of a beanie.
The worst is when like the beanie's on to where it's going to go. Like, you know, to the top of your eyebrows, covering your ears.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's still...
Yeah, like 6 inches of beanie on the top.
Yeah, and it like...
Then you look dumb.
It looks silly.
Yeah.
You can't have that.
I need to find the right one. It was too warm for a beanie for me today.
Yeah, when you don't have hair, it's...
I know. Game changer.
Your whole body temperature starts dropping. Starts shaking. Teeth chattering. All right, the first question we have is from Brian Griffith, my man.
Brian.
He's in, I think, New York now. He was in San Diego.
That's a big shift.
He was a client of mine way back when I was a little trainer at Gold's Gym.
Just a little boy.
All right, I did like his 3 free sessions with him. He was even younger than me. Now he's all grown up.
Gold's Gym.
Doing big things. And his question was, how should diets differ if you're doing a lot of cardio versus mainly weight training? So my first thought is one major asterisk here is what is one's body composition goals?
Yeah.
Right? Because
that's going to change everything.
If someone's main movement exercise is, say, weight training or cardio, like one of those or the other is prioritized. But if pure performance is your goal, you're going to eat a very probably high carbohydrate diet. Want to make sure you're getting proteins and fats, but you care more about performance, right? So at anaerobic intensities, carbs fuel that anaerobic activity. So you're going to want a high carb diet. And then from there, you want to make sure you're getting enough calories and more than enough, really.
Yeah.
Even if it's at the expense of a certain leanness or body composition, right? So I would say a very high carb diet for both of them. They're going to be pretty similar, but you would probably end up needing more for
your cardio.
For cardio.
And it depends on like how much too,
yeah.
you know?
The other thing, because diet, so much, it's a broad term, right?
Yeah.
So part of your diet would also be your nutrient timing. So that's going to factor as well too. If you're going to go on and it depends on the cardio you're doing. Like cardio is a little too broad. If you're doing short runs, if you're doing high HIIT training, if you're doing long endurance stuff, if you're going on a 3-hour run, you're not going to want to eat a ton of fats right before, something that's going to sit and take longer to digest. So meal timing is going to be different too, based on the length of activity you're doing.
Yeah.
And how many carbs you want to have to refuel. I would actually say I'm going to assume doing lots of cardio means endurance, longer endurance running and biking.
Yeah, that's what I would assume.
You're going to have to take a lot more detailed, nuanced approach than if you're mainly weight training.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have to think, I'm running this long, I might bonk out. You might have to bring some liquid gels, carbohydrate gels with you. So how would your diet, or should your diet differ?
Yes, but it depends.
Yes, but it depends, right? But in general, any kind of, again, anaerobic activity is going to lean itself towards more carbohydrates. So they are both similar in that.
Yeah.
Now, again, that's not saying that you can't do them on like a ketogenic or lower carb
No, because
approach.
you adapt and it, and you can get it done, but
But in general, yeah, if you're pushing into anaerobic activities, you want some carbs. So that's how
we would do that. Not a specific answer, but that's the reality of fitness and nutrition.
And yeah, again, so to take that question deeper, I would more than ask. I would rebuttal with more details, like hey,
what are your goals?
What is the specific cardio? What is your main goal? Does body composition matter? Those are all factors. All right, so then we also have, let's see. Ben left a question. We'll just have to skip over that. Here's a good one. So David asked, fat loss when family may have non-goal aligned foods and meals.
This is more common than people might think. You know, like you're in the house, like you want to lose weight, but like, you know, your kids still have snacks, your significant other still has whatever in the house, you know, they're not doing anything, you know, to help your goals. It makes it a whole lot harder.
Yeah. And for one, this is why with most people, okay, so we'll say the goal is fat loss. We don't really assign, hey, eat these specific foods.
No.
We normally prefer to have people approach it with, here is like a calorie goal, a protein goal, and then you can make it, try to fit in, right?
Yeah, make it work for you.
And that approach is great for a lot of people because of a specific circumstance like this, right?
Yeah.
Well, you can have some of those things, just make sure it fits. So really that comes into getting your portions right.
Yep.
Now, yes, of course, obviously if you are trying to stick to a certain amount, it's going to be less than normal, and whatever, your significant other or kids eat Pop-Tarts all the time and you can't say no to them and they're in the house.
That's going to be an issue.
That's a challenge, right? For one, off the top of my head, because this is the common situation we see, and my preferred approach is, you know, be a little more strict, have smaller breakfast and lunch meals, because typically, if you're not working from home, in the morning, everyone kind of has their breakfast, you're on the go, then you're at work for lunch, so you know you pack your lunch. So those meals you're kind of more in control of, more busy, and then you may sit down with dinner and it changes, or people want different things. Yep. But if you've just had maybe small protein-based meals, breakfast and lunch during the day, you're going to have a pretty big...
You have a lot more wiggle room.
For dinner, to really just have whatever everyone wants and just, kind of make sure your portion is aligned with where it needs to be.
Yeah.
And then that's a easy baseline.
That's a big one.
Approach.
And we always talk about environment, you know, like you may not be able to completely control everything. So, you know, at least if they're going to be in the house, make sure you don't have like just snacks all over the place in your view, because if you see it, it's just way easier to eat. So, you know, is that going to solve the problem? No, but it's a little thing you can do to absolutely help, because we all know, and I'm the same way, if it's there and I can see it, I mean, I'm going for it.
Yeah. For some people, I mean, it sounds extreme, but you could, put all the stuff that tempts you in maybe a certain drawer that you don't have to open.
Or a separate cupboard somewhere or something like that.
And then maybe that will work. And then you know what? Maybe that won't work and you got to get a locked drawer, you know, and then you and make sure you don't have the key to it. Sounds crazy, but again, if that's your goal and that's your environment situation, then hey, there it is.
You got to set limits somehow, and sometimes that's, you know, what it is, as extreme as it might sound. You know, if you can't keep it out of the house, then you have to keep it away from yourself somehow.
Yeah. And I would also say, again, this is part of the problem with the all or nothing approach, you know, so even kind of in the question, you know, goal is fat loss, people eating non-aligned foods and meals, right? Well, I would say for the most part, almost any food or meal can be aligned with fat loss. Again, if they're like frying, you know, you're frying up wontons and
I mean, there are limits to this.
But most people, don't eat like that, right? So if you're cooking your meals and food for the most part,
you're going to be okay.
You're going to be okay. Just get your portions right. And if you just don't want those meals, well, make your own food.
Yeah.
Like that's
Or like
more common.
Prep it, and then
Yeah.
if the other 3 people in your family are eating one thing, you can go heat up your food. You can sit down. You can eat dinner with them, and it's fine.
And remember too, like it's okay to, it's funny. People will think, well, I want to eat, maybe these foods and meals, and the other person wants to eat these other ones. So cook your like who's to say who's right or wrong, right?
Yeah.
So ultimately, if 2 people want 2 different meals and you're fine each making them, like just make them.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to eat what they're eating, they don't want to eat what you're eating. Find that middle ground, and you have to do you.
Yeah, and like communicate, like have a conversation about it. Because if you just assume the other person, knows what you want or doesn't agree or whatever, that's not going to help anything. But if you actually try and talk it out, which, generally will help, at least it's out there, the other person or other people kind of know what you're doing and, know why, like it can help you out. Even if they're not completely on board with doing it themselves, they might be a little more okay with like you prepping your meals and eating that instead. So that could be a helpful thing to do as well.
So exactly. Don't expect a perfect, this stuff's going to be hard. These are the food environments that we live in.
Yeah.
So you have to learn how to deal with it. And it's not going to be easy. You may have to have hard conversations. You may have to try something that doesn't work. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest thing. And that's what we see with our nutrition coaching program. People want nutrition coaching to be macros and calories and numbers. And the reality is it's not. It's facing obstacles like this and then finding ways to work through them. And it could take trying 3 or 4 things or having hard conversations or ignoring those conversations and trying to do it without, but eventually having to face them. So that's how you deal with it. If you realize it's going to be a challenge, an obstacle, you may have to give and take. Someone else might have to give and take.
I mean, that's life in general. So,
and then you kind of figure it out as you go. So, I mean, I know for me, like there's times where, hey, maybe I want to get leaner and Alexis doesn't, and I just eat different portions, or we eat a little bit different meals, right? Or maybe we're having ground beef for dinner, but she's just having veggies with it.
And you're having rice.
And I'm having rice, right? Or I'm not,
Yeah. That's exactly, like Whitney and I are in the same place. Like she's trying to kind of maintain, and I'm just like, eating more. I'm in a surplus. I'm trying to gain a little bit, and it's hard, but you just have to be, let the other person know where you're at. This is what I'm trying to do, and then like helping. She's like, hey, well, don't buy like a snack to keep in the house because that doesn't help me. And for me, like that's fine. I can eat just bigger portions and forego a snack that I maybe could have fit into my day to help her out.
And that's the thing, right? It really comes down to, most of the time fat loss really just comes down to your total intake. So it's just adjusting your portions. You probably don't even need to change your meals. Just, you're going to be maybe eating a little less than you normally would.
Exactly.
But again, and we drill this in so much, the problem probably arises with snacks and stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that's where it's, if other people have snacky foods in the house, it's hard for you to resist. You might have to ask them, hey, can we keep this somewhere else? Can we lock it up? Yep. Or just figure it out with yourself. Like, what's it going to take for you just to say no or to pass on it? I know we drill that in, like cut out mindless snacking, but I'm going to assume in this kind of question, this scenario, that's going to be the biggest challenge.
Yep.
Is all the extras, right? But if you're just having your meals, just adjust your portions, right? And if someone's judging you for that, then you got bigger issues to figure out. So, good question.
That was a good question.
Let's see. Joint friendly, Justin asks. I think he's in Ireland. Let's see. Joint friendly exercises for over 40s and recommended rep ranges. So
joint friendly stuff.
It's easier to go with like what's not joint friendly off the bat. So higher impact stuff, so a lot of like running and jumping is going to be pretty jarring on your joints. And because they're very explosive exercises, which means, we'll think about a rubber band. If you slowly pull it, it's going to be a lot less jarring, right? If you maybe whip that thing back as far as
snap
you
it back,
let it go.
Yep.
So probably avoiding stuff like that.
Yep.
And then a second tier is going to be where you're in fixed positions, so you don't have freedom at the joint. That's going to be rough on your joints. So think about a barbell,
like an overhead press.
Yeah, or even just a barbell bench press versus a dumbbell bench press.
Yeah.
Right? So think about holding a dumbbell. You
can rotate your arm completely.
Yeah, your elbow and wrists have freedom of motion, right? To kind of go where what's comfortable, what fits your body. Whereas a barbell, you're in a fixed position.
You're literally locked in place no matter where your elbow or wrist or whatever wants to go. Like, it's stuck essentially.
Yeah. So it's going to be a little more stressful on your joints. So the way we in our gym, Coastal Strength and Fitness, is most of our clients are 40 and over. So we do kind of program for that.
Yeah, better safety, or
more joint friendly.
Yeah, less risky things that still get results.
So we use a lot of dumbbells and cables. So same thing, cable provides a very even resistance profile, but also independent handles. So you have that freedom of motion. Not a ton of barbell stuff.
No, we do a ton of dumbbells and kettlebells, even like some, we'll say Olympic style lifts, like we do with dumbbells, like dumbbell snatches, dumbbell clean and press, because then you have one arm to worry about. Whereas if you have both arms moving together, again, they're fixed on a barbell, and you go to maybe put them over your head, and maybe one side is way more restricted than the other.
If you know me, you know I'm always on the run, up early and home late. So having a 3-hour morning routine isn't really in the cards for me. What is in the cards is AG1. It's a fast way to get vitamins and minerals I need to perform. I first gave AG1 a try because I wanted a single solution that helps support my entire body by filling in nutrient gaps and simplifying my morning routine. Since drinking AG1 daily, I've always felt strong and energized and ready to attack the day. Not only does AG1 deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre- and probiotics, and more, it's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple. It's one scoop mixed in water once a day and every day. I know that AG1 is giving my body high-quality nutrition. Every batch of AG1 goes through a rigorous testing process, so you know that it's safe. And AG1 ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrition density. AG1 is a supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why I'm excited to welcome them as a new partner. Here is your chance to start every day this season with a gift to yourself. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/provengrit. That's drinkag1.com/provengrit. Check it out.
Well, you're going to create problems for that side because it's trying to keep up with the other arm that moves better, and all you're going to do is continue to, hurt that joint over and over and over because you lack the mobility to get in the position. But if we can use a dumbbell, then that gives us the freedom of, both arms kind of moving independently in, the range that they can, instead of forcing one to do what the other is doing.
Yeah. And another big one with Olympic lifts, with the barbell, is your wrists.
Oh,
they
big time.
They all have that catch portion. Which, then, your wrist is going back. And for most people, like, that's super stressful.
Yeah.
No benefit unless you have to do that exercise for your sport.
Yeah.
Because you can get the other benefits from other exercises, explosive benefits, and no catch.
Yeah. And not beat yourself up.
Yep. So those are great choices for strength training. So, using dumbbells and cables instead of barbells. And then for conditioning, using tools like the sled or the skier, the rower, the air bike. So all those are those kind of air resistance cardio machines.
Yeah, they're lower impact than a lot of alternatives are.
Yeah, there's no impact. So those are going to be better conditioning tools than a ton of running, jumping, even jump rope, super repetitive, knees, ankles,
I mean, the whole thing. I mean, how many people's low backs hurt when they do jump rope, it's a great conditioning tool. But if we're talking keeping yourself a little bit safer, there's better options for you.
And then there's walking, right? Like walking is really our
Dude,
default
underrated,
movement.
baby.
So that's going to help lubricate our joints in a natural pattern. You should always try and do as much walking as you can.
For sure.
That's even as a mobility exercise, right? We should be able to have the mobility to walk and maintain that. And so walking's great. And then again, for maybe pushing, if you want to push your conditioning, look at things like the air bike. A bike's going to always be a great option.
Yeah.
And recommended rep ranges. So yeah, in general, I would say like 8 to 12, in a broader range, like 6 to 15.
Yeah.
So it comes down to like a bell curve, right? So if you're doing reps that are like 5 or lower, inherently you should always be using challenging resistance, right?
Sure.
So if the reps are lower, the weight's going to have to be higher. So yeah, when you just get to closer to your 1 rep max, there's more risk on your joints. You're using heavier weight. More could go wrong. On the converse, if we were just like, well, let's do the lightest weight and do like 30 reps, well, then the problem is with the really high reps, you're going to start getting other like fatigue factors, right? So between like the burn and your heart rate and oxygen getting depleted.
Yep.
So then you may quit
Before you hit failure
before
or close
you're
to failure.
muscularly challenged, but you quit because you start getting cardiovascularly fatigued, or mentally,
And it's super uncomfortable maybe, and you're like, okay, I'm done. The
Yeah.
burn's too much.
So then you see, okay, well, those super low ranges, super high ranges start to kind of just not be optimal, and you end up in that moderate range. Who
Yeah.
knew? A moderate.
Who knew that bodybuilders were right all
Yeah,
along?
who knew moderation? So then all of a sudden that 8 to 12 range becomes kind of, for most people, the best of
It's a
both
sweet
worlds.
spot, I
Yeah.
think.
It's not so many reps to where you start getting super fatigued, and it's not so heavy with like the lower reps where you're risking more
Yeah.
joint stress from the heavier
It keeps
weights.
the load in check compared to doing, say, a 3-rep max, which, is going to be stressful. And, plenty of people train like that, but it's just a lot more risky and just more load on your joints over and over. And it's a lot.
Yeah. And of course, the best is to make sure you're executing the exercises.
Oh,
well.
yeah.
I mean, you can take a joint-friendly exercise and butcher it.
Oh, absolutely.
Execution's always big. So, joint-friendly exercises for over 40s, and really they'd be joint-friendly for anyone.
Yeah.
And rep ranges, go with a lot of like dumbbells, cables, stuff where you're not like in a fixed position. And really,
I like unilateral stuff too.
Yeah.
Like even for I didn't touch on lower body, but I do like that. It gives you a little more freedom. Just like the shoulders, your hips aren't always going to be even. So that allows you to kind of, work on one leg at a time if they are, in fact, a little bit different, which they usually are. So instead of forcing yourself into like a barbell back squat where everything's locked in place, and if one hip doesn't move as well as the other, then you're going to probably end up with like some low back or hip or knee pain from that.
And in real life, we barely do anything bilaterally.
Yeah, exactly. Most stuff is unilateral, whether
Yeah.
you're bending over or twisting or something like that. So,
And then that 8 to 12, a little more broad, 6 to 15 rep range is where you want to be most of the time.
that's where I spend like 99% of my workouts. I feel good.
And some people will find that a little bit higher reps, so more like in that 10 to 15 range
Yeah.
for lower body, is a little more comfortable. I know I just feel better in a little bit higher reps. With
Yeah,
my-
not doing like a split squat at 6
Yeah.
reps. Yeah.
Someone asked, Mike, he asked,
Mike?
what's your current workout routine like?
You want to go first?
Yeah. So, I mean, really.
Ours are probably the same.
Like always is. People always message me, why won't you post your workouts, on Instagram stories more? I do every now and then, but it's like the same stuff. So,
Yeah, it's like not super exciting.
yeah. So push, pull legs. Right now I'm training like 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday.
Do you do a rotating? Like push, pull, legs, push?
Yeah,
okay.
that's what I was doing. So, or sometimes I'll just do like now where I have 2 leg days, like a quad base one and a glute ham one. Mm-hmm. And then push pull, and I mean, same stuff.
How many exercises per generally?
4 to 5.
Yeah.
Exercises per workout, for 1 to 2 sets, really. A couple warm up sets, and then main set. Tracking how many reps I did, and then once I can do 10, I go up in weight. So the boring stuff, regular exercises, like
Just trying to get better over time.
Yeah.
That's it.
RDLs, glute bridges,
Split squats,
hack squat, heel elevated squat, dumbbell presses, dumbbell rows, machine presses.
That's it.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, hinge, squat, press, pull.
Yeah.
I find exercises that feel good, and then just try to get progressively better on them. But also, I've been working out 15, 16 years, so not much more is going to change.
Yeah, I mean, no one's going to invent anything that's going to really change the game at this point.
Or I'm not going to slap on 12 pounds of muscle or something. My
Start-
effort and consistency is good. My genetics have put me where I am. It's not, I do it more for the process and the part of it.
And the long-term benefits of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maintaining what I have over the next decades is going to be super helpful, So it's just, finding approach too. I don't want to fall in the trap of needing it to be entertaining.
Yeah.
Because then you're balancing the need for entertainment with inferior stuff just so you can be entertained. And I'd rather just do what's most efficient and productive, and go on to the other parts of my day. So for me, that's I like push-pull legs. I like the recovery.
You mean you don't like to do legs every day?
Yeah, full body. I mean, that's my
fucking
problem.
nightmare.
Full body is, all the legs every day. But at the same time, this is where it depends on someone's situation, right? We noticed with the gym, and I was talking with someone who, they struggle with being consistent. This is where a push-pull legs, right, isn't going to be ideal for someone who maybe has a real hectic schedule and randomly makes it to the gym, because you could miss 2 days and you end up doing 3 pull workouts in a row.
Yeah, and that's all you've done is chest for 3 weeks, basically.
Yeah, but so then you'd probably want to do full body so that, when you get in, you get a little bit of everything. And then if you don't get in for 3 days later, you're still getting everything, So if you kind of go 2 days a week, full body is going to be better, right? But if you're training 4 days a week, full body's brutal.
It's so hard.
So full body's good for 2 or 3 days a week, but or especially also if you're newer, 3 years or less, it's helpful because you get more practice, more frequency with the lifts.
I think as you get stronger, having multiple leg days in a week are generally a little more challenging for people.
Yeah.
Because you can push it, then you need a little more recovery time. So it depends, man. Depends on who you are. I've been running push-pull legs only 3 days a week right now because I just kind of came out of a deficit. So I'll probably eventually move to 4 because I do like that when I'm feeling good, and I've actually been adding a lot of weight pretty quickly. So I might run the push-pull legs rotating. That's kind of my favorite thing to do. But literally kind of the same structure as you. Same exercises, same progression.
Upper, lower sometimes,
Yeah, I mean, I gravitate, I think, towards push-pull lower, and then I'll go to an upper, lower, for a little change of scenery. But that's about as exciting as it gets, is switching to that. Exercise-wise, keep most everything the same. Sometimes I'll throw in some different pump work or, maybe an extra curl variation just to keep things a little lively. But outside of that, same stuff. A lot of sauna work lately. I've been going
sauna work.
I'm in there hitting it hard. me and a bunch of other dudes just sitting there. But I've been doing that a lot. It's actually, I've been enjoying that. Probably 5 days a week, sauna. I walked in there. At One Life, they have a pretty decent sized sauna. There was 12 dudes in there. I was what's about to happen to me?
Is that the tech center one?
Mm-hmm. See, I just nestled right in.
The one in Middle Ground is way bigger.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's huge.
That street sauna.
Let's see. me check over here on Facebook. The last one. Cool. I think most other ones we've
already
There's
touched
one
on.
I think we've touched on before, which was the value of 5 a day fruit and veg.
We can hit it again.
Yeah, it's mostly probably connected to like fiber
Yeah.
content. So when you eat fruits and veggies, you're getting fiber, which helps you feel full, which helps you eat an appropriate amount of food and not overeat, right? Then there may be benefits to like the variety, because you're getting different nutrients and polyphenols, and but it's still, I wouldn't stress over it.
Yeah, it's not going to make or break your day having.
And if you're stressing, like I only got 4 varieties and 4 servings today, and you're
doing more harm stressing about it than not getting your veggies in.
Mm-hmm. Another thing too is you don't have to get it all in like one day,
No.
right? You could get apples and blueberries this week, and have broccoli. So yeah, get apples, blueberries, and broccoli this week. Those are your fruit and veg, and then the next week get pears, blackberries, and cauliflower.
Because remember, like, it's a very modern thing to have everything available to us.
Yeah.
Like, there's a certain point in time where if it didn't grow here, you didn't eat it. So to think that we need this gigantic variety of vegetables that were grown in Argentina and India and all these other places, like, it's not super realistic to do that or to feel like I need that. So, just pick a couple things. Rotate through them. Don't stress too much about it, and you're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Like pick 3. You be good. That's what I usually do. We'll get blueberries, and then we've been eating a lot of red peppers lately. So like blueberries, red peppers, and then whatever else. Maybe like we have a lot of shallots, which is such a random thing, but it goes good with the peppers. So, but that's it. That's our rotation. I'm cool with it.
Yep.
I feel good.
And ultimately, it's all everyone's best guess, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Like, you have to step back and be like, man, well, if I ate 5 varieties of fruit and veg versus 3, going to extend my life?
And is it even going to change
Like,
how you feel day to day?
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Yeah, well, do it and take a note and see how you feel. At the end of the day, there is individual difference and variance, right? So, a study is trying to figure out stuff for the masses, but, notice how you feel.
Yeah,
what
that
you feel
still
best doing.
carries a lot of weight. I know people that, man, they thrive on like a lot of veggies a day. Like, I don't know, 7 to 10 servings of fruit and veg, where I know if you or I ate that, like digestively, we would probably feel pretty awful. And I've just, from experimenting and, upping my fruit and vegetable intake for a period of time, found that I don't operate so well on a ton of it. Like about 3-4 servings a day is probably my limit to where I, feel fine digestively. And
yeah. And for me, I'll notice where it's normally like an intuitive line of like, am I just forcing this down?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're just stuffing yourself with this food you don't even really want because, and for me, I'll notice that, I can have a little bit of like berries, with a meal or some sauerkraut, but if I'm like, you put 4 cups of broccoli and cauliflower in front of me,
way.
it would be, it
would be work to eat that. You'd have to shove it down your gullet.
And I've noticed too, if I have too much fiber, I just don't feel as good, right? And actually recently I've been having the oats for breakfast, big serving of that. And then I was having a lot of potatoes, but then, digestive and bloat and gas. And I was just like not feeling great. And I was like, that's
fiber, man.
That's a lot of fiber. So again, I made sure, well, let me keep some, and again, this is why I've always eaten a lot of white rice. So I know, I'm having these oats, like 2 cups. That's a lot of fiber right there. So my other starch, I feel better with it coming from
white rice,
mainly white rice. I'll have like 1 little potato, but if I start trying to get like 20 ounces of potato, get all the rest of
Dude,
my
that's
carbs.
a lot of fiber. That many potatoes.
Yeah, it's brutal, man. So
And the type of fiber in potatoes too is,
yeah.
a little
and
bit
then if
different.
I'm already getting a ton of fiber from the oats,
Yeah,
a ton of fiber from even a little bit of potato, well, if I start adding in a ton of other veggies.
Yeah, imagine if you had like broccoli at every meal too. Like you're going to be miserable.
Yeah. So that's where, you have to take into account the food you enjoy, your goals. If I'm trying to eat 3,000 calories, it's just not going to happen.
And getting full of broccoli and something super fibrous is not the best idea when you have a lot of food to eat.
So then if someone was in that situation, if I really, and you're like really worried about missing out on the polyphenols and stuff, well, they have those different supplements.
Like green supplements and things like that. Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Get a variety of the polyphenols from the, different whatever.
Get your micronutrients and kind of an insurance thing while you're not going to get them elsewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to handle it.
If you're worried about that. But yeah, so ultimately, eat some probably that you feel good on and that you enjoy. But you don't have to like keep tally and freak out if you don't hit exactly 5.
You don't have to keep track of all the colors of the rainbow, which, eating variety is good over time, but
yeah. And again, you can do it over the weeks and months.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be all in the same
especially
day.
Like I said, foods are seasonal. You have different things through the year, and that's how we would have always eaten anyways. So don't feel like you got to cover all your colors at once. It's fine.
And you'll notice if you do kind of maybe keep a little seasonal, maybe you have a screenshot or something of, what's seasonal of fruits and veggies. You'll notice if you go by what's seasonal, kind of change things up every season.
Yeah.
I feel like we're saying season a lot. You'll end up hitting all the different little colors and everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Over time. Someone just posted that in I think it was Julia posted it in the nutrition group. It was a really good one of the fall stuff. And there's plenty of them to pick from. It's not like there's 2 things. So pick what you like and go with that. And I'm sure it'll work out.
Look at fruit. In the summer, it's going to be a lot of berries and melons. And then in the winter, it's going to be like oranges.
Apples.
Or in the fall,
apples. Fall's apples, yeah.
Winter, it's going to be like a lot of citrus, oranges and stuff. And spring, you're going to get to...
Peaches?
Something. Yeah, peaches.
Things like that.
I didn't know because I don't like peaches.
You don't like peaches, man?
Doesn't even cross... Nah, man.
Really?
Peach flavor, it's just...
So I really hate peach flavor. Like fake peach, I think is like disgusting. But I really do like peaches like themselves. But there's a really fine line.
Yeah.
Fake fruit flavors I'm not a big fan of them. Like fake watermelon?
Yeah.
No. Not for me, man.
Yeah, I'll stick like lemon lime type.
Yeah.
If I'm going to have some flavored candy or...
Which, like lemon lime's a classic bet. Or a blue raspberry.
Which is like...
Not even a thing, but...
We've talked about this before.
What's it supposed to be again?
I feel like it discriminates against blueberries.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, you want to have this blue food, but you don't appreciate blueberry flavor and you think it will turn people off.
So you got to go with the raspberry.
So you're going to call it blue raspberry.
Because blueberry is not fun enough.
I don't get it. But then the funny thing is, when I did that like nutrition seminar at the gym with little kids, and I got all the different berries. And I had them like pick which one they like the best off of the appearance, which one like they like the best off of the texture, and which one they like the best off of taste. After they ate it all, and dude, blueberry won hands down.
Always. Who doesn't like freaking
and for
blueberries,
me personally,
bro?
I love blueberry flavor.
Yeah.
But then it's funny, it's not a flavor in drinks and candies. It's always called
blue raspberry. I'm gonna start a campaign against it.
Yeah. Why is there no blue? Like, why is
the audacity?
Why is there not? Come on now. Even Gatorade, right? The best Gatorade's that light blue.
Glacier Freeze, baby.
Glacier Freeze. And I was like, what is Glacier Freeze? And it's kind of like blueberry. It's like berry citrus when I Googled it is what Gatorade claims it to be. So, but I'm like, why can't it be blueberry?
Because people they wouldn't drink it, man. They think it's like blueberry juice.
Yeah.
Which is weird, but...
Mixed berry. They'll drink mixed berry.
Mixed berry. Yeah, they do mixed berry because you got raspberries in there. I'm disgusted.
Yeah. We need to do some research. Come back with the whole blueberry episode.
The conspiracy against blueberries?
Yeah.
What if we uncover something deep? We get shut down.
like blueberry runts existed. No one knew, but someone choked on one or something.
And now like blueberries banned. Can't be a flavor.
All right, well, let us know your thoughts on blueberries.
Yeah, let's hit it. Or if you have any more questions.
Yep. So we'll leave it at that today. Those are great questions.
Those
so
were.
Hopefully, I think a lot of people will resonate, connect to them, find value. And that's that.
That's that. I think we got a guest coming up soon.
Yeah, we gotta coordinate it, but we're having Amanda come back on.
Yep, Amanda. Yeah.
Got a couple other people. So Tim's a professor at CNU. We're going to be talking about motivation and goals and kind of really motivation in general, because it's the whole thing, right? Like,
it's a lot to it.
And then there's like what people think of as motivation on the surface, and then all the technicalities and what it actually is.
Yep.
So that would be a good one.
Yeah, that'll be fun. So you won't just have to listen to us jabber
about blueberries.
So, yeah.
All right. Blue Gary signing out.
See ya. As always, thanks for listening, guys. If you want to learn more, check us out at coastalfitnessva.com or garydeagle.com. We'll see you next time.